What's going on, guys? Market continues to kind of wreak havoc in, the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of the market open. Now, again, market cycles change, right? On a quarter by quarter, week by week, month by month basis. And right now, what we're realistically looking at in this current cycle, right? Again, we've got earnings, we've got election next week. There's a lot of catalysts that are going on that are really, dictating what this market's really doing. There's a lot of uncertainty, and we all know that the market really doesn't like a lot of uncertainty. So what's happening right now in this current cycle is you're getting a move in the overnight session, right? It's kind of chopping around, it's setting up a macro move, and then it's kind of flushing out into that New York Open, and then you're kind of seeing like a pause, right? And what's happening is what's catching a lot of traders off guard is typically New York traders are used to kind of catching those big moves and catching the rally, and we're kind of setting the tone for the day and what's happening in the overnight and after hours and pre-market session. But right now it's kind of a little bit of the opposite. So a lot of these traders who are typically looking to catch those moves off the open in that directional bias are getting trapped, okay? And I'm still going to preach probably for the rest of the year. I would recommend all traders, if you don't have a lot of years of experience under your belt, you don't have a big account size that you're trading, you're not taking consistent payouts, just do yourself a favor and sit out the first 30 minutes of the market. That's going to help you tremendously because it's going to allow you to see and let the dust settle. So again, if you are a little bit more experienced, sure, there's areas of opportunities where you could have definitely jumped in short today off the open. But what happens is if you look at the left-hand side of my chart, what happens is the market opens up. A lot of people don't really trade that first 5-minute candle or 2-minute candle or whatever. The market starts to drop a little bit, and then it starts to pop, and people try to take the long and then immediately get stopped out. Or they kind of sit there and they wait for 5-10 minutes and they watch the market continue to flush, and then the thought starts coming to themselves, oh, maybe we're going to go down a little bit more. And they kind of jump in short, but they're way too late. And then what happens? Immediate pause at 9:45. This is 15 minutes off the New York Open. Immediate pause, and then a nasty 100-point reversal. So if you kind of just wait for things to set up, 15, 20, 30 minutes and just not, just take yourself out of that first opening 2, 3, 4 candles, you're going to see the market a lot clearer. So one of the levels that I was looking at here was once we started to flush, okay, I'm looking at these levels of demand. The 50 SMA on a 1-hour chart gets absolutely destroyed. The 100 EMA gets absolutely destroyed. But I'm starting to see here, we found a little bit of a base, and that's right here about 15 minutes off the open where we come down, and then we, like if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, we quickly stop, and then it immediately starts to reverse. When I start to see that, I have to look at my bigger chart macro-wise, and I need to see what the hell just happened. And I can see here that we stepped in off of this 100 SMA. So once I see that we came into a strong level of demand on a 1-hour chart and I see us aggressively pushing back up to the high side, then and only then I can take a look at my small time frames and say, okay, where can I put some risk, right? That's any breakdown below the 100 SMA. And where could I potentially catch this long? Okay, 950, I could start to look to get in once we start to take out the pause candle, maybe even 955, if not, 10 o'clock at the top of the hour. Right, I can get in. This is not really a chase move. There was still plenty of room to be made here after the 30-minute opening range off this 20 SMA play here, off the 100 SMA. If you look at the high price, 20,666, it rides all the way up to 20,699. So there was still 30 points here. Again, if you are an NQ trader and you are trading one mini contract, taking off 10, 20, 30 points can essentially be your day. Right, you're talking about a $200-300 trade on one mini contract, let alone if you're trading two. I mean, you're looking at $400-600. Now, again, you got to be very, very careful because this early in the day session, these ranges are huge. So if you're trying to operate on a 5-10 point stop loss, what you're going to see happen here in this market cycle is you're going to get chopped up, where you can necessarily not enter in a bad spot, but the ranges are so big to where it's kind of floating up and down, and it's triggering your stop loss, and the next thing you know, it's going in your favor once again. So again, just kind of stay back and stay patient a little bit. One thing that, you know, if you just look at today's price action, we were stuck in the middle of that opening hour candle, that 30-minute range for a long time, 1, 2, 3, you know, almost 3-4 hours before we finally started to crack back down below this 50-day moving average and below the 11 a.m. lows. That would have been the next short potential that I would have seen here, was below 11 a.m. lows. You know, that price was going to be somewhere at 20,607 into 20,580. So there was, you know, about 20 points worth of room there. Again, we started to bounce a little bit. There's nothing really here. You know, I'm not really looking to go long if we can't take out a previous hour candle high. You know, if I'm looking to go short, I've got to take out the previous hour candle low. So again, the 30-minute opening range paid off today. Again, us in Evolution Traders, we're not really looking for much. 5 points, just get a quick, you know, quick green trade there and kind of see if we can build some momentum off that first green trade. Again, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can. The story is of trading, you know. So with that being said, I hope you guys all stayed safe. Again, I would take, you know, as least amount of trades as possible these next couple of weeks. Just look to take some small green, take a trade here and there, and see if you can kind of build a P&L going into the end of the year. Because right now is not the time where you want to overexert yourself and trade like an absolute maniac to try to change a P&L for the year that's not really going to be relevant anyways. You know, if you really think about it, the last month and a half now, you're not really going to change your life all that much. So work should have been done the previous 10 months. Now, that's not to say you're not going to take a payout between now and the end of the year, or you're not going to make any cash. But what I'm saying is the majority of the work is over. We're coming to an end of Q3 here. A lot of your work should have already been done. So if you're chasing right now, this is like trying to take a trade with 30 minutes left in power hour, right? You're trying to make up a whole day's worth of losses in the last 30 minutes. It's how I look at this time of year as well. I'm not going to make a whole P&L going into fourth quarter, you know, at the end of third quarter. It's just not going to happen. You know, I needed to, you know, consistently grow in Q1, Q2, and Q3 and not look to try to make up my whole year in the last month and a half. So my foot is all the way off the gas here. I'm taking a select handful of trades based on setups that I personally like. That can be 30-minute opening ranges. That can be 5-minute 20 SMA plays. That can be looking at the hourly chart and playing some of these hourly levels, which I personally like the most because it offers the biggest kind of, you know, return. But again, hope you guys enjoy the video. Right now, Apex still got that 80% off sale. If you guys need those accounts, make sure you guys load up because there's only about a day left on an 80% off sale. That link is down in the description box below. They shoot me a couple of bucks every time you guys, you know, buy an account through my link. You can just use a generic code of SAVE80, and that's going to get you that 80% off deal. We're still looking at $85 activation fees. And again, it helps really support the channel. So if you guys do appreciate my work, do that favor for me, guys. Use my link, and I'll see all of you guys on the next video.